Tonight's list lets you know about the players we should now consider All-Star caliber. There'll be at least a few 2020 All-Stars displayed in this video. There's a few from the 2019 All-Star game. After the list, I'll give my favorite for the MIP award, but meet the NBA's 10 most improved players in 2019. The Wolves are in playoff contention despite trading Jimmy Butler, so it's mostly thanks to, Karl Anthony Towns and Andrew Wiggins, of course, but mostly Derrick Rose, who shoots the 4th highest three-point percentage of any point guard in the NBA. Derrick is the favorite for the Sixth Man of the Year award this season, I think, but the Most Improved Player of the Year award, I think, also could be up for grabs, as you see his drastic improvement from deep here. But the main thing that's benefiting him is he's finally learned how to pace himself on the offensive end and use his athleticism in the right ways. We used to see him just make reckless attempts at the rim when he was in his prime, and sometimes they worked for him and he had highlight plays, but those are now a thing of the past because he's turned that into seamlessness. But it's just completely different this season from past ones in the way he lands after a dunk or a layup. But getting Mini into the playoffs, they're only 4 games back right now, and with a good chunk of season left, that could make him the double champ in terms of being the Most Improved Player and the Sixth Man of the Year. Career highs across the board for De'Aaron Fox. Of course, that's only compared to his rookie season, but in his sophomore year, the man is just continuing to develop, adding flawless handling. Well, he had that already, but I think his IQ has taken a step in the right direction, and it's on a different level than last season. He has elite athleticism, and this season he's came back with solid long-range and also mid-range shooting ability, much more consistent this season. Vlade Divac, their GM, former player in Sacramento, he's came in and made a lot of great moves, but De'Aaron Fox may be the most special addition that he's made, and that leads to the next player on this list. De'Aaron's backcourt partner, Buddy Hield, took a step back in his development last season, clearly used it as motivation in the 2018 offseason because the points per game have shocked the NBA, and he's number 4 in the entire NBA in three-point percentage, proven to be, I would say, the most deadly rising spot-up shooter in the NBA. Zach LaVine is far from the problem for the 13th place Chicago Bulls. Injuries have halted a step up in wins from last season, but obviously it's a tragic year for the organization because they had high hopes from everyone coming into the season that the young core could compete for the playoffs. I mean, that's just what I thought. I think they got a lot of young talent on this squad. But Fred Hoiberg, of course, got canned, and maybe this is all for the better, even though he's a good coach, because going in the tanking direction could be the right idea in 2019. Meanwhile, LaVine is showing to have the ability to put up big-time numbers as a number 1 option. However, he's proved, I think, that this isn't the spot for him at the same time. Like, big numbers, but it's not on a great team, so they're kind of empty stats, if you know what I mean. If you give him a star to playmake for him and take on a star role, maybe a bigger role than him at the same time, then you're talking playoff contention. There's several game changers this draft, and LaVine will be praying for some big-time help. Before the 6 next most improved players in 2019, shout out to Swensation55, who says the Raptors come out on top this year in the East, and he also makes some great player comparisons with them in Milwaukee. The Bucks just smacked them. It is still only February the 1st, though. The Speaks giveaway is being postponed till the end of February. Sorry to do this again. I know I just had a video delay, so I just want to be fair here. The board's going to reset at the end of February. This month, I'm going to be posting a lot more, so stay tuned for that. LaVine and this man, Caris Levert, came through for me in a prediction video I made last offseason. But the focus here is Caris Levert, who was completely carrying Brooklyn, showing how his wingspan, handling, and smooth jumper can lead to big-time NBA production. At the shooting guard spot, with that size and athleticism, few guys in the league can contest your shot or compete at the rim with you. The season-ending injury is tragic, but in today's modern recovery, everyone seems to be bouncing back pretty well. It just comes down to these guys' commitment to getting back as soon as possible. I have little doubt Levert doesn't have that in him to come back and really make that effort. So he and D'Angelo should be as strong as they would have been this season in 2019-20. Definitely exciting for the Nets to have two dynamic young guards like this. Pacer players get forgotten about probably the most of any team in the entire NBA, but Domantas Sabonis gets my support and respect from a Raptors fan. He's maybe the most underrated player in the league, and his name should be in the debate for Most Improved Player of the Year. He's 5th in the league in field goal percentage, 18th in player efficiency rating. His strength and touch are what make him a potential elite player for the future. It's only his 3rd season, I believe. The man does not miss from long range and can back down any power forward, who in most cases are a lot skinnier than him. Nearly 20 points on 55% shooting for Julius Randle. That's something a lot of fans could not have predicted. I think he was one of the more sneaky great pickups last offseason. Davis probably gets traded before next season, even though current reports say the Pelicans won't move him. But if it happens, then Randle's going to opt out. He may do that regardless, but he's in for a big-time salary increase for sure. He's a stronger version of Sabonis. Maybe doesn't have the Domantas touch, if you will, but he brings ball handling into the equation. Domantas does not have the ball handling that Julius has got, and it's one of the fastest big men handles in the entire NBA. He gets up and down the floor in a blur. Montrezl Harrell sticks to what he does best and knows that he can dominate when he gets in the paint. The standing jump ability is the biggest thing that comes to mind when thinking of how he can take over a game. The man is just relentless on the offensive glass and just can pop back up using his strength and vertical. Also, it's his ability off a screen and roll to just slip right to the rim. It's almost like he's invisible. He can get to the rim at will and score a majority of his points by just finding his way to the rim in, awkward situations. Spicy P, Pascal Siakam, who I've predicted will develop into an all-star, is part of the extremely solid core in Toronto that could be making it ideal for Kawhi to re-sign. Of course, I'm doing the Claw Saga series. Check that out, link in the description below. From 10 to 16 feet on, though, Pascal shoots 55%, 50% from 16 feet on, and he's somewhat efficient from distance as well. So the touch is on point from everywhere. Here's why that's scary for whoever's matching up with him. First off, he's only getting physically and mentally stronger. It's only his 3rd season. He's young like a lot of guys on this list, but he's already got a legit jumper. And then it's his athleticism, but also craftiness. The man makes off-balance layups look easy, but the hops allow him to get any bucket he wants in the paint. Tobias Harris leads off the honorable mentions. He keeps increasing his efficiency. He's up to 50% from the field this season. He's 6th at his position, right behind Kawhi Leonard in that area. And then D'Angelo Russell, who just got the All-Star nod because of Victor Oladipo's injury. He deserved it. Certainly a lot of people didn't think he would be in the All-Star game this season. Davis Bertans has the highest three-point percentage in the NBA. It's only his 3rd year in the league, and who knows how high he can increase his scoring to. Across the board, Blake Griffin has kept the Pistons afloat while returning to the explosive talent we all know him as. Lastly, I want to give respect to Moutier producing well in the midst of Knicks dysfunction, and don't forget about JaVale McGee, who's had a solid year in LA. But lastly, maybe the most unknown player on this entire list, John Collins, who, if you watched in his rookie year last season, barely attempted a three-pointer every game and struggled from the mid-range. This season, he's as comfortable as any stretch big man in the NBA with the jumpers and shoots them with confidence. Defensively, he's quick on the perimeter for his size, which is perfect for the modern NBA with all the shooting bigs. But now he's one of those shooting bigs, and him and Trae Young are the light at the end of a very dark tunnel for Atlanta in what's been a tough season to watch for the fans. like Chicago, they're praying to land the top pick. I think my favorite is either Siakam or Fox. Of course, I'm going to say Pascal because I'm a Raptors fan, but De'Aaron Fox is one of my favorite players as well. Love what he's doing for the Kings. That would be an amazing story if you could get them into the playoffs. The fact that they're even competing is a great story on its own. But your take matters too. So either who's your most improved player of the year in 2019, or who did I leave off this list? Best answer gets next video shout out. Hit subscribe if you enjoy the content. This has been D-Flow. Thanks the world for watching. Have a good one, and see you next video.